Thanks, Anna. Well, a VA whistleblower is calling foul on the Inspector General's report that says there is no definitive link between the veterans' deaths and the lengthy wait times they experienced at various VA hospitals around the country. Dr. Margaret Moxness is a psychiatrist who worked at a VA hospital in West Virginia. He was brave enough to speak out, and she joins us now. Doctor, thanks for coming on this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So IG reports are kind of sacrosanct in Washington. They're supposed to be completely straight, non-political, honest. Do you think this report is?
Well, probably. It sounded, from what I read, very straightforward. But, you know, it is a law enforcement document, and they use forensic language and a forensic concept of what happened and what's true.
Yes.
You know, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. But Dr. Foote, being a doctor, he talks about quality of care and preventable deaths. So you can say two things that are sound contradictory, but they're both true. One's legal, one's medical.
Right. So in other words, you could reach a conclusion that might be technically accurate, but at the same time misleading.
Yes, and what's a case in point in Dr. Foote's position, the hospital there released an early press release, which is their spin doctors' work on how it's going to be fed to general audiences. And if the general audiences hear, oh, well, we didn't kill them,
right,
then they're going to diminish the importance of Dr. Foote's remarks.
Right. Well, I want to get to a quote just for our readers who aren't familiar with this from the report. It says, in the case reviews in this report document poor quality of care, we're unable to conclusively assert that the absence of timely quality care caused the deaths of these veterans. Is that
right?
Behind
and that's
the covering?
Probably, that's a true story, because waiting never killed anybody. But if you put a couple hundred sick guys with cardiac disease and leave them alone and no doctor's minding them, 40 died, and they did in fact die. Dead is dead.
Yes.
So the wait didn't kill them, but they weren't well treated, and Dr. Foote's pointing it out. Not legally. He's not saying there was a wrongdoing or manslaughter, though that's, again, not, well, our IG says you cannot peg anybody with wrongdoing.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we can't correct this. I mean, I had that in my clinic. They were very, their procedures and their statements made it clear that they didn't feel responsible to catch these suicidal Iraq veterans in time.
Yes.
If they didn't, and then, but, you know, there was preventable deaths. Doctors find that outrageous, and I think the American public will too.
So you're a physician, and so in your judgment, a lot of these guys would not have died had they received care in a more timely manner.
No question, no question.
Right.
The veterans that I treated, they have heart disease, diabetes, emphysema, psychiatric problems. They need to be minded, and some of them have to be quickly treated. You need a medical professional, not a clerical staff who puts them on a virtual wait list. You need a professional person to say who needs care first and quickly.
Of course. So
right.
if that's true, I'm taking you at your word, you do this for a living, this report's pretty outrageous then. If it's...
Well, the spin is more outrageous than the report. You know, my inspector generals are also very methodical, like detectives.
Mm-hmm.
They're very precise. They're real clear about evidence, like on Law and Order. You
yes.
know, they're real specific about how much weight this can be and could other factors have caused the death. You know, the prosecutors don't prosecute every death. And we won't claim that there were bad actors here, but when the doctor with 20 years experience says that these deaths were preventable, I listen to him.
Yes, me too. Dr. Margaret Moxness joining us this morning. Thanks a lot for your perspective on this.
You're very welcome.
Really interesting.
You're very welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, there's a dog party on the plaza this morning. Like to have one at least once a weekend, and we're glad you're coming. Gadgets made just for dogs, and even better, they're all designed to keep your dog safe. So stay tuned. We've got a ton of them.